Hey guys, welcome along to another episode of Double Tap. We're going to get into your emails today. And how does Shaun read his books?
This is Double Tap, where blind people talk tech. Here's Stephen Scott and Shaun Preece.
Shaun Preece, it's another Monday. How are you feeling? Are you all Mondayed up?
Just another manic. Yes.
Monday.
Stop it now.
Oh yeah, we can't do that, can we?
Yeah, I'm very well, Stephen. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. I'm coffeed up. I feel better than I felt earlier. I'm not going to lie. You might hear my little doggy barking away in the background. He's going through some training right now. So, training to stop barking, essentially.
It's going well.
It's not going well, clearly. A complete waste of money. Yes. So, no, it's been a fun weekend. Although Monday morning I come into the office, I sit down, I have to plug something into my computer, and I find a stray cable. And I thought, I wonder where that goes.
Yeah.
I pull the cable.
Don't pull it. Follow it.
Oh, no, I did. No, I tried that, but that didn't work because that would mean moving. So I'd have to lean over the desk. I'm not doing that. I'm not a savage.
Okay.
So I'm pulling at this cable and it's going nowhere. And so I did the thing that I do. Maybe others do this. Maybe you'll resonate here with this. I just yank the cable. Come on,
Yep.
pull it.
And
well, basically everything that was at the back of the desk arrived at the front of the desk.
quickly.
Very quickly. So there I was trying to untangle it and getting more and more frustrated to that point where I nearly threw some things off the table. We nearly didn't have a show today because if I had done that, then I think we would have been in a bit of a pickle, shall we say.
Well, yes, I could play in the WhatsApp message that you sent me, I believe either during or just after, where I think the term punching tech was thrown about quite a lot.
Quite literally, yes. That term and my arms were flung around all at the same time.
That's not the answer.
Into submission. No, it's not. No, it doesn't solve anything. Violence is not the answer. That's a Stephen Scott fact right there.
Makes you feel better, though. Anyway, what are you asking me about books for?
So I don't know if you've followed the story about 11 Reader. Have you ever used 11 Reader?
I have not, sir, no.
No, apparently it's very good. I haven't either. I've looked into it. I just think sometimes it's another subscription, another thing I've got to pay for.
It's not free. I believe there is a free tier.
Well, there is a free tier. You get 10 hours of listening. Basically what it lets you do is if you've got an article online that you quite like the sound of, but you don't want to have to listen to it via, in my case, Eloquence.
Who does?
All the way through it. I love Eloquence. I love it. I love Eloquence and all it stands for.
Tiflotechnica. There's the one.
Whether it's Grandpa or Eddie or Reed.
Yes.
I love all of them.
E-speak.
I must say, I don't like the British Eloquence. That feels a little bit weird to me. Don't like the British.
Really?
I prefer the US one, yeah.
Reed. Is that one? That sticks in
Reed, that's the one I tend to go with, yeah.
Okay. Awful. Yep.
I mean, there is if you say that's terrible, but there is one worse, believe it or not. There is one TTS that is worse than Eloquence. If you don't like Eloquence, you would not like this one. And that is Apple's version of Eloquence called, can you remember?
Eloquence. Apple have Eloquence on there.
They do, but not Apple's version of Eloquence. Maybe they wouldn't call it that.
Fred?
I do.
I don't know.
That's the one. Yeah, Fred, exactly.
Okay, thank you. A little pop quiz there. I'm quite happy with that. Okay.
You won.
Yes.
Congratulations. You haven't won anything, obviously. Just a chance to remain with me for the next 53 minutes. Is that not a joy?
Yeah. So reading an article using Eloquence is bad, says Stephen Scott. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. So therefore, something like 11 Reader, which uses those beautiful 11 Labs voice, or voices, to allow you to read your article. But you can now also read books on there as well. So if you have a book, as I do, I have my No Sight Required book by Tony Gebhard, which I've been listening to in Eloquence. Now I can share it directly into 11 Reader, and it will read it to me in those beautiful voices. I just thought people should know this. I think David Goldfield got in touch to tell us about it. I think we should tell people this.
Pass it on. Yeah, but you asked the question, how do I read my books? And it is purely audiobooks. So
yes, you use an Audible or
whatever reading service is there. So yeah, mainly it is Audible that I use, just because I can access it from so many different places, phone or on my speakers or whatever. I'm going to be a little bit devil's advocate here. I don't like reading books using any TTS at all.
Okay.
Even if it's a very high quality, natural sounding one. Do you not find, look, it's fine for an article. Yeah, absolutely fine. if you're trying to read through a textbook, I'm trying to think what I've got on Kindle, a Dummy's Guide to HTML or CSS3 or PHP.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah, that sounds absolutely...
Well, that's kind of...
Boring.
Yeah,
that
great.
is my point, though, right? Because I feel like this is... People want to access these books mainly for education, right? For information. It's educational textbooks.
What are you talking about?
Well, it's because it's difficult to find educational textbooks in audio format, right? So you're more likely to find something in this EPUB or whatever, in digital form, in which case you would use something like this. I'm not convinced that even a natural sounding TTS is something that you can concentrate on, listen to for an extended period of time.
Oh, but eloquence is fine.
No.
On a 400-page book.
No, I'm saying exactly, it's the same. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's even possible.
I think I'd agreed with you maybe 3 years ago, but I mean, even in the recent months, the AI voices have improved massively. I mean, look at the voice we use here for the emails.
Again, short
it's got
form.
expression. Yeah, I know, but it is built for long form. That's the point. So it's built to have tone. I think what you've experienced in the past, and I've experienced it too, are those natural sounding voices that do tend to have the same tone throughout. Every sentence has exactly the same tone, which, as you say in an article, is fine.
Yes.
Because it doesn't grate as much. Maybe if it's a particularly long article, but if it's just a quick news article, it's fine. But if you're listening to a book, you do need to have a variation of tone. You also need the text to be understood in terms of its intended tone as well. You know, and then they all died can't be the line. You know, it's got to be a little bit more appropriately read, unless it's a comedy, obviously.
Yeah, I totally get you. There has been...
I mean, I'd listen to a couple of dark comedies. I kind of like dark humor.
There's been a lot of improvements in the AI TTS generated voices, absolutely. But yeah, I don't know. I'm yet to be convinced by any of this yet, but I haven't tried it in a while. I remember years ago we had the discussion when the natural sounding voices started to come through, and we were talking about TTS audio description and TTS read books like we're talking about now, because, you know, is the option between not having the book available at all or having it read by TTS. And of course, there is no choice there. I'd rather have TTS, but I don't know. I just find it really difficult to concentrate. Maybe it's an individual thing. Maybe you can train yourself to get used to it.
You know, it's funny. One of the things I've often said when it comes to learning Braille is, you know, one of my reasons for learning it was never, ever to sit down on a Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon and read a book. As much as I would have loved to do that, that's not really why I was aiming to learn Braille, because I didn't think it would ever get me to that speed to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of think to myself, am I looking at this the wrong way around? Maybe actually I should use the book as a way to encourage the reading. Because oftentimes what I'm doing when I'm using Braille is I'm using it on an email. I'm using it to check things. I'm not actually using it to read, if that makes sense. I'm using it to confirm something. So I'm listening to audio and I'm hearing it say whatever the email that I've written is written. And then I think, is that correct? And then I check it on the Braille display. Oh, no, it's wrong. I'll change that. I'll fix it. But I'm not actually reading. So it's not encouraging me to read.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to, you know, actually try reading a book on Braille. I mean, it'll take 20 years probably. I'll probably be dead.
How are you getting on with Braille? Have you noticed any sort of increase in speed, or are you still not using it consistently?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not reading with it. That's the problem. I'm not reading with it. I'm using it as a tool.
If you're proofing emails and things like that, you still must be slightly faster. I'm still at the stage where I'm feeling around each dot in each cell with my fingernail, trying to figure out where each one. And maybe the sort of slight nerve damage that I've got in my fingers, maybe I'll just never get there. But it feels like you've been doing Braille for a while now. I just wonder if you do feel like you've improved in speed, at least.
I don't know if it's maybe tiny bits, as I say, not reading so much, but I am able to, I mean, put it this way, I pick up a packet of medication and I can read it fairly quickly. You know, I'm able to very quickly understand.
Do you know which way round it is? I can never figure that out.
So my trick with that is to read it one way. If it makes absolutely no sense, turn it around. And I go, okay, this is it. Right, got it.
I just thought there might be some sort of hidden, symbol somewhere. This way up or something.
Well, some packaging, it's in the top left, right? So if you get the package that way around, but the problem is if there's a lot of Braille on it, you may not be sure where it starts, where it ends.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I do find it great for that. The thing that annoys me most, though, is when pharmacists often do this, or pharmacies do this, they cover the Braille over here. They cover it with a
label, with the print on it.
With a label telling you what to do with it. Yeah. It's like, yeah, but I need the Braille to read the... So, yeah, that could be rather annoying. It's funny, actually, you mentioned TTS on audio description. I was just going through my Netflix, well, not the Netflix list, but there's like a coming up.
Yes.
And I find this now as well. I don't know if you've noticed this, but in Netflix, there's a lot of audio described tracks or trailers with audio description tracks added, which is great.
Oh, I haven't noticed that, because as soon as I open Netflix and it takes me to what's coming up, I get annoyed and want to go, no, just take me to the home screen, thank you.
They don't all have it. Not everyone has it, but a lot of them seem to have it now. And obviously that tells you the film is going to have AD, which is kind of useful as well. It means I immediately know if I can add it to the list, which is great. But I did notice one of the voices, and I cannot remember where from.
Oh, you recognise
so many different TTS voices, but I thought, that's a TTS voice. I just knew right away.
We're getting to that point.
That is a TTS voice. Yeah,
on social media especially, a Facebook video comes up and you go, oh, I know that voice. It's definitely... And some of them have tricked me, by the way. It's like, oh, it's that fella again. I recognise that voice. And then they'll... What did I hear today? Instead of saying kilobytes, it was something something else, and it's just like, oh, that's AI. It mispronounced it so bad constantly that that's a computer. And the actual voice sounded great, though.
Do you find this now that I'm finding more of these little nuances when it comes to screen readers? Apple Vista is my favourite one most recently.
Apple Vista?
Not Apple Viz anymore. Apple Vista.
Oh,
that's what I get.
Yeah, I know.
Like Windows Vista.
Yeah.
But better.
Well, it's the same with anything like that, isn't it? With abbreviations, ST gets Saint, and there's so many of them. But as voiceover users, we just tend to accept it and sort of figure it out and move on.
That's right. VI is 6. It doesn't ever...
Yes, 6 talk.
I mean, you can change this stuff, right? You can change it. You can go into settings. You can adjust all that, which is fine. A little update. Now, we need to do some testing here, but a little bit of an update on the Meta glasses. So Gordon was on recently with us talking about his experience of getting the glasses, and then he decided to send them back because they weren't working for him.
Hang on. The Meta Adventurer we're talking about here.
Yeah, I call them Meta glasses, because there's Meta Ray-Ban, there's Meta Oakley,
yes,
and there's Meta glasses. And you're right, there are, I think, 3. There's Adventurer, Fury, and Kylie Minogue.
And
those are the 3. That's absolutely right.
Yes.
And those 3 are...
I don't know.
What one?
Yeah.
Bless you. So...
That's very good. Well done.
I don't know what's going on. So the Meta glasses, Meta's own range, the cheaper range, the affordable option.
Well done.
We had tried them, and one thing that I noticed, and Gordon had eventually noticed as well, was the audio quality from the microphones was awful.
Yeah, unusable, I would say.
Oh, it's dreadful. Yeah. I mean, it was as if someone had, swallowed the microphone whole.
But not consistently.
Horrible. Not consistently, no. It was horrible. So on Sunday, I was running at my dad's, and I put the glasses on. I was leaving, and I put the glasses on, and I realised I hadn't been connected to the Wi-Fi. So I said to my dad, "What's your Wi-Fi code?" And we put the Wi-Fi code in. And when I did, the glasses said, "Oh, you have an update for your glasses." And I thought, "Oh, hello." Hello.
A little bit of excitement when there's an update. Oh, what's new? Oh, nothing.
Like, get the kettle on. I'm here for another 10 minutes while this does its thing. And so, I proceeded to wait until the update was complete. And I'm thinking, please fix the microphone. Thinking, this is absolutely ridiculous. How will this solve the problem?
Yes.
And then I left and I called you on WhatsApp. My first call.
Of course, as it should be. Yes.
Absolutely. Not my wife, but you. How disgraceful is that? And then I called you and I said, as usual, how do I sound? And you said...
Great. It sounded perfect. It sounded really nice. Yeah, it was...
So I am very confused. Now, we need to do more testing.
Yes, that was one call.
One call. It wasn't a message, so we need to test that. But, we did do a call before a couple of times, and you couldn't hear a word, and no one could hear a word I was saying.
No.
Now, if this has fixed it, this is fantastic, but it seems odd to me, but... I did say at the time I thought it might be a software update issue, I did read through the notes. There was nothing that I could find in there that referred to anything about fixes for the microphone.
Never admit anything. The Steve Jobs approach. Not our fault.
Don't admit
what are you talking about? There's no bugs.
Yeah, you were wearing them wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. But hopefully that is the situation resolved. We will do more testing. Yeah.
There was another setting that you played around with. A rookie mistake, Stephen Scott. You know, if you're troubleshooting one thing at a time and see if that fixes it.
No, just change everything and then try it.
So there was a new setting for spatial audio and stereo audio, right?
So the audio you can listen to via the glasses is now stereo or spatial.
Now, isn't it spatial by default? Because we've talked about recording videos using the smart glasses and how the audio is amazing. It's like you're back in the room, if you like. Isn't that spatial already?
So the audio, when you play back from exactly like that, from a video you've recorded, yes, absolutely true.
Yes.
But no, the default is stereo. Now, when you switch it to spatial, the first thing you notice is voiceover feels very strange.
Really?
Because now it's kind of coming at you from all angles rather than from the stereo, which is just basically, you know it's coming from each side of your head.
Yes.
Now it feels almost in front of you, which is very weird.
Nice.
And it's got a little bit of a more robotic feel to it in a way.
Okay. That's eloquent.
But walking back, once we had the call, and I ended the call, as you do, I ended it on the glasses by double tapping on the side. I must have hit the tap, I must have hit the little pad again because a podcast started playing. Not one of ours, so I only listened to it for 3 seconds and turned it off. But what I did notice was that was in spatial mode, as it would be, right? Because I've set up spatial. But that was really interesting. So before, when I'm walking around, if I was wearing the glasses and walking around, I'd hear the audio coming, quite direct, quite clear. And it's not that it's unclear. It's just that it's coming at you as if the glasses weren't on your head. It's just there. It's a very strange feeling.
It's almost like it's spatial, isn't it?
It's almost like it's spatial, yeah. But it's very hard to describe until you hear it. And I don't know if I like it. I'm not entirely sure
convinced, yeah. Well, look, that sounds like it should have no effect on the microphones at all. But the point is, we just don't know yet. But
we don't know.
Also, the point is that the Meta Glasses Adventure Edition may not be totally busted.
Useless.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but okay. Totally useless, and they may be fixed. But we'll do some more testing on that. I haven't heard too much feedback about anyone else who's using these. We'll have to get back in touch with Gordon and see if he's still got his.
I think he got rid of his. I think he decided to go back to
Too soon, Gordon.
Ray-Ban.
Too soon. Jump ship.
Well, no, I mean, at the end of the day, it makes sense. I mean, if you can't use that was the thing, because that was suddenly every single phone call was a thought of, I need to turn these glasses off or I need to take them off. And that's just useless to me.
Yeah, that's no good.
But if that's working now, if this is working properly, I'm very, very happy. So time will tell. We'll do more testing. We'll try the different modes. I mean, if I switch back to stereo and it doesn't work again, that's just weird.
Great.
But at least it narrows it down, right? And at least there's an option to fix it. You should try yours, but I'd be intrigued to know if the Ray-Bans get that option as well. I can't see why not.
Do you know what? That Meta AI app has become such a beast to navigate through. I barely look through it. It used to be when I first got them, as usually the case with a new app or new hardware, you're spending your entire time in there trying to get the layout and figure out each and every setting. I kind of have just given up now with the Meta AI app. The UI, the user interface, is just not user-friendly at all. It needs a lot of work.
But hang on. So are you saying that it's not accessible?
No, I'm not saying it's not. We're not having this argument, Stephen Scott. Don't throw me under the bus.
No, because honestly, I don't find an issue. I see a lot of people complain about the Meta AI app. I do my 4-finger tap at the top of the screen, which takes me to the first item, the menu.
Yes.
And I swipe right from there and I go to glasses settings, or I go to, in my case, it says adventurer. So I double tap on that and then I go to adventurer settings and then I'm in. That's it. I don't use the Meta AI functions, if I'm honest.
No. So why does the keyboard pop up as soon as you open the app?
I've never had that.
What?
Well, no, again, I do the 4-finger tap at the top.
So you don't care about it. Yeah, but no, you're right. And I get what you're saying there, but I've done the same thing and I've almost took the same, Well, you can get there. They've just changed the way. It used to be a tab at the bottom, right? Devices or whatever it was called. But now they've changed it. You go up to the top left and menu and then glasses. I thought it was just a different way and people were upset by that.
Lazy, Shaun Preece.
No,
lazy.
but what I found is, even if I go in that way, sometimes it doesn't take me to the glasses settings. It takes me to some general settings.
It does. So you have to go to
and then
the
you've got to go to, okay, there's
my
my glasses. Now device settings for those. It's just poor design. It needs tightening up. I'm sorry. As an accessibility-focused developer, as you are, Stephen Scott, not me, you are.
I'm done. I'm done with it. I can't be bothered. I'm not putting anything out to the world. All anyone does is ever complain, so I can't be bothered.
Well, on that, I've just bought my first domain name, Stephen Scott.
A domain?
I have. Yeah.
ShaunPreece.com.
Shaun Preece. No, it's not. Don't go there. I don't know what that is. Stop.
Fully endorsed by Shaun Preece. Whatever is on that website.
Stop it. That isn't me. I don't know what that is. Wow, now you got me worried. The plan is that I will put some of my personal weird projects out on the web at some point.
Hang on.
So,
is this any worse than ShaunPreece.com?
Some of my add-ons and whatever else, and the accessible access deck.
I want that. Why don't I have a website? I should have a website.
Well, you've got a website, doubletaponair.com.
That's not my
under
website.
Construction.
Don't go there. But, I mean, you can go there. You absolutely can go there, and you will find various amounts of information.
Such as?
But it will be fixed very soon, I promise you. We're working on it in the background. No one cares. It's fine.
Does anyone go to websites anymore? Are domains
Well, that's it. Well, never mind. We'll just forget it.
Okay, well, fair enough. Anyway.
Does anyone go to websites anymore?
I had an interest, right, trying to buy a domain.
Sorry, just to say, emails coming soon.
All right, I'll be very quick. I had a little bit of a rant. I can't remember if it was on here or somewhere else. I had a bit of a rant about every domain name is taken. It's impossible. You just got.
I think that was on WhatsApp with me.
Well, whatever. I've been telling anyone that'll listen. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, so I found a domain name that was free, very good, and I went to where do I buy this? Where do I register? I believe the technical term is a domain. So I found a place, and I signed up, and I went through everything, put all my payment details in, and then it wanted to verify my identity.
Oh.
And you had to take a picture of your passport or photo ID and do it while you were looking left and, crossing your eyes or whatever it was, all in the app.
And some of us can't help that.
Yeah, exactly right. And I don't even know where the camera is. I'm all over. But the point is, it was inaccessible. And you couldn't proceed on. So I sent them a very stern email. And to be fair, support got back to me very quickly and said, well, can you attach your photo ID to a reply to this email? But by that point, I had simply found another place to buy it that didn't require me to verify my ID.
Less secure.
Well, yeah, possibly. Actually, I went with Cloudflare, which is one of the biggest ones out there. And that didn't require any of that. And it was very easy, very accessible. By the way, they've done a lot of work on their accessibility. So it's definitely... And
this was just to buy the domain?
This was, yes. But they do other things as well. You can host on there. But at that point, I was just trying to get the domain name while it was free.
And where are you hosting?
I don't know yet. I haven't even looked at that yet. Probably I'll just stick with Cloudflare if it's accessible and easy to do.
So they do hosting as well?
Yes, I believe so.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never understood all that. I used Ionos for a long time, which is not the most accessible. I did it when my eyes worked. When my eyes were working. Just a 60s song. Anyway, shall we get some emails?
Yeah, I think so.
Come on, let's get some emails.
Email. We get email.
You get your emails every day. What's that voicemails to?
Ding dong.
Here's your mail today.
Douche.
WhatsApp, voicemails, emails, voicemails, WhatsApp, voicemails, emails,
etc. It doesn't scan very well, that, Steve. We'll work on it.
Doesn't. I was never a jingle writer, that's for sure.
Weren't you?
Good listening. No, strangely enough. I loved listening to them, but never writing them.
You're the only person I know who's got a collection, a folder on their computer just full of radio jingles. You are such a nerd.
That is how boring my life is. That someone says, I found a folder on Stephen's computer. What does it contain? Radio FM.
The shame. The shame.
The shame.
I'll tell you what's worse than that. Me sitting there while you play them to me down the WhatsApp call for an hour.
Hang on a second. Have you heard the 1996 variant of this? That's very important, yeah. Right, let's get some messages on. Richard's up first.
Hey, this is Richard from Louisiana. I'm a glaucoma patient that is gradually losing more and more of my vision, so I've become more and more dependent on things. One of the things that I'd love to be able to do better is navigate around on my phone and have things that I can't see show up. I'm a user of the Meta Ray-Bans like everybody. I have a Oakley pair and the Meta pair, and I find the Meta AI app is dreadful. You can't talk. I'm a Android user, and Google Bixby is the talkback device on this phone, and it doesn't read anything inside that app, so I have to get my wife, who is sighted, to do anything, and I'm trying to be more independent as I go. I saw a post about Google AI glasses, which are going to be coming out, and the things that they say they're going to be able to do will be amazing. I'll be interested to hear about that. You know, my biggest problem is right now Google, which I use a lot, can't even really read a text message anymore. It kind of goes on strike and will say, I'm a large language model, but I can't read text messages. And then, of course, it can, because later it will do it. Sometimes it wants to read your last 27 text messages. Sometimes it'll read the most recent one. Sometimes it'll read a recent one that it thinks is recent, but is actually like 2 weeks old. So anyway, this is just a list of complaints. But I'd be interested in hearing more about if there are ways to have better access to operating individual apps in your phone. Like, I'd love to be able to have the Star Trek computer that says, hey, computer, order me a ride share to go to my church or something like that. And right now I haven't been able to use Uber or Lynx since I've become so blind that I can't see the addresses on the phone and I can't type anything on the phone. I use a lot of voice to text. Anyway, I wanted to say you guys are terrific. I have become totally addicted to the show, and now it's what I watch it every day. So there we go. Have a great day, and I will talk to you later.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you so much for getting in touch. And you know what? What you've just said is going to resonate with a lot of people out there.
Yeah,
I can sense that right now. I can hear a lot of what your experience, very similar to my experience up until recently as well. So it sounds to me like Richard's not using a screen reader at this stage.
No, and that was exactly the same point I was going to make. You know, this email is great because so many people sort of come to a bit of vision loss or whatever level of vision loss, and then suddenly it's like, what do I do? And you get all these different sort of bits of technologies, the smart glasses, smart speakers, voice assistants, AI, screen readers, but which one do I actually, and what's the difference between them? And that's some of the confusion I think we've got here. And I think it's important that Richard, that there is a difference. What you really want is a screen reader. That's the thing to concentrate on right now. That Star Trek, hey, computer, do this for me, is coming. I think we're going to get there, but right now we are not.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, the screen reader is so valuable at this stage. Now, I admit it is a challenging thing to learn, and it doesn't matter. And lots of people will say, buy an iPhone. You don't need to do that. You've got a Google Pixel phone. You've got a perfectly decent phone there to do this with, and you'll be able to start using TalkBack fairly quickly. There's a couple of things you need to learn. When you turn on TalkBack for the very first time, if you're getting some sighted help to do it, or you can ask your assistant to do this. That's one thing it will do.
Yes.
It will turn on TalkBack. You just ask it to turn on TalkBack. Now, what will happen is, usually when you turn it on for the first time, you'll get a menu of options, or at least what do they call it? A tutorial that runs through the process of how TalkBack works. So it will give you a bit of an introduction. I think the one thing, though, and the challenge with telling people to turn any screen reader on for the first time, is that there are a couple of things you really need to know before you even switch it on. And that is the swipes and the double tap gesture. So important you know that, because that is the first thing you're going to have to do. Because what's going to happen, and I can tell you this from so many times I have experience of this. And, if you've ever had to hand, as a blind person, if you've ever had to hand your phone to someone and they try and use your phone and they're completely confused while they're tapping and nothing's happening, but it's not working, it's just saying things.
Yes.
And it's like, because, voiceover's on or talkback is on. The first thing you need to learn is that you take your finger from the left side of the phone and you swipe it right. So you just put your finger on the screen and swipe it right. That will basically do the gesture of moving from one element on the screen to the next, right? So if your focus on your screen starts at the top, as it often does, then you swipe right and the next item will speak. So let's imagine you were on a list of items. Think about your settings list, for example. If you wanted to go from general to the next one down, you would swipe right. Not swipe down, swipe right, because that would move the item to the next item. That's what it does, next item. Swipe left is your previous item. And if you want to act on something, if you want to say, well, actually, I do want to go into the general settings, you can double tap and that will open up that menu. That is the equivalent of being sighted and doing a single tap on something. The benefit for us is that we get to know where we are before we decide where we're going. That's the reason, that's how a screen reader really works. It's giving you that audible prompt to tell you you're on the general button inside settings. And so you know that's where you are and you can double tap. And that's how blind people get to know their way around a smartphone. It's as simple as that. Now, the reason I tell you that is because when you turn on that talkback, you're going to have to know that in order to either switch it back off again, and you're going to have to tell your wife or your partner that you have to turn this off again if you want to. And if you want to navigate around the screen, you're going to need to do that. So once you turn on talkback, it's kind of enabling that gesture right away. It will talk you through all this, but if you don't know it in the initial stage, you're kind of stuck. And a lot of people are just kind of flailing around. You can, of course, explore the screen by touch as well. So just put your finger on the screen, just move your finger around, and anything that appears as a button or text underneath your finger will be read. And that is the beginning of learning to use the screen reader. It will take you time. It's going to be challenging. There is no doubt. It doesn't matter whether it's iPhone.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's iPhone, doesn't matter if it's Android, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter if it's a PC, any of that. It will drive you nuts.
But
and
you'll
that's
get there.
Okay, because you'll get there. Exactly.
And you will be able to use the Uber app and you will be able to read through your messages. That's exactly the point. In the Uber app, I swipe through and, after a while, once you get used to it, you can quickly swipe through. I know what I'm listening out for. I want, the address of, in your case, the church. And that'll be in there somewhere and you double tap on it and then you pick which Uber you want and then you swipe through until you find, confirm and pay, double tap on that. And it's all read aloud to you. You don't even need the screen on. And you will get there. I promise you will get there. But the other thing I think is important here is that you've got so many different technologies there that you're sort of conflating into one. And as Stephen said, talkback, that is the screen reader. Screen reader is what you specifically need. Talkback is the one for Android phones. VoiceOver is the one for iPhones. Bixby is a voice assistant. So it can do certain things like, call so-and-so. It can do that absolutely fine. But it can only do what it's allowed to do. A screen reader, on the other hand, will just allow you to activate or swipe through and navigate through your phone completely. So that's what you need to concentrate on first. The smart glasses, again, it's more of that assistant side of talking technology. It's using AI. It's very useful, but for what you want to do, it isn't the technology to concentrate on just yet. Screen readers is where it's at for you at the minute.
I've heard so many people over the years say to me, when I say, do you use VoiceOver on the iPhone, for example?
Yes.
And they'll say, I use Siri, yeah. I've heard that quite a lot.
Yeah, that's what I meant at the start of.
Yeah.
We hear this all the time because why would you know a difference, right? It talks to you. It's the accessibility. You wouldn't know that actually they've got sort of different aims or different goals. And it's totally understandable. And as I said, I think most of us have been in that sort of situation at the start.
And it's hard to get this information. As strange as it sounds, the things we've just talked about, actually, that's the hardest information for people to get, because people often say, I think this is the problem with all the training in the world that is done. It always starts from a premise of you know something.
It's really difficult. Yeah, there's that assumption of assumed knowledge already, right? Well, you know,
I've talked about this about Braille displays so many times.
Oh.
So you buy a Braille display.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I got one, I'm like, okay, well, now what? And they're like, oh, you just go into the menu. And I'm like, what do you mean I go into the menu? What does that even mean? What menu? What exists? There's nothing here.
Yeah.
And it's like you read the manual. So I open up a 300-page manual, which you may as well have sent it to me in German. I have no idea what any of this means. You're talking about chords? What have I bought a piano?
Yes.
What is? I thought it was a Braille display.
But
why is
we're
it
all
talking about
guilty
chords?
of that, right? I mean, I'm as guilty as, you press I've done this so many times. Well, you just press Alt F4. What's Alt? You know,
What does that mean?
I just assume that people know the keyboard layout and what modifier keys are. That's not true at all. Of course, if someone's never used a keyboard before, why would they?
And it's like when my favorite was when someone said to me, so what does Alt F4 mean? And I'm like, actually have no idea. I don't know what it means. It just means close, but I don't know why Alt F4 means close. Is there a reason for that? I mean, Command O to open something on a Mac, I guess makes sense.
Yes.
Command S to save. I'm commanding the machine to save. Okay, I can kind of get my logic around that, but Alt F4 on a PC, I'm like, no, I don't have a clue what that
just
means.
is.
And that's the problem. There's so much assumed knowledge. And you're going to get, and I will warn you, Richard, you're going to get a lot of advice. As soon as you poke your head above the parapet here, among blind friends or people you know who are using this technology, you're going to get a lot of advice. My advice to you is don't listen to that advice. Don't listen to any of that advice. Just take your time. The best thing you can do is take your time. It will infuriate you. You will get a few headaches. I would advise you probably put voice or TalkBack in your case on for a couple of hours a day and then turn it off again. And then the next day do the same. Just because what will eventually happen is over a period, you'll get to a point where you'll stop turning it off. You'll just start to feel comfortable and you'll kind of want to push on through. There's a lot to learn, but there's also not a lot to learn. Because basically it's just the way that these phones work, which is why blind people love them so much, is because it only requires a certain amount of gestures to get things done.
Yep.
There's not much. I think I've probably counted about 5 gestures you really need. I won't go into them all, but I know I can think about like swipe left, swipe right, okay? Double tap, magic tap, with 2-finger double tap, those kind of things.
Yes.
Those things that they will, and Richard, don't worry about this just now. Please don't think about this at the moment. But the point is that you will learn these gestures as you go along, and you'll learn that once you've figured this out, every application works the same way. The layout might be slightly different. The words will be different. The buttons will be different. But every app will have the same approach to it. And actually, that's why a lot of blind people like using smartphones, because there's a similarity across the board. Yes, there will be inaccessible areas of apps. Yes, there will be challenging areas, of course. But at the heart of it, there's a similarity. And you will just increase that knowledge each time you come up against a new challenge. You will just learn the way around it, or you'll learn how to navigate that particular thing, and you'll be fine. But it will make a difference to you. It's hard to say now, and it's hard to believe it now. And it was certainly when you turn on TalkBack, you will not believe it at all. But a day will come where you'll be thinking, oh, thank God I did this.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you turn on TalkBack? Is there a universal gesture? It used to be, I know, holding down the volume up and volume down buttons on the phone would turn on TalkBack, but sometimes that had to be turned on and it was off by default, that accessibility shortcut, which always blew my mind. And I can't quite figure out which phone you do have, Richard, because you mentioned having a Pixel, or Google Pixel.
Yeah, you said Bixby.
But then you said Bixby. Now, Bixby is the voice assistant that comes with Samsung phones. So that doesn't quite add up. But either way, I mean, if you have to ask your wife, God bless her, ask your wife to go into settings, accessibility, and turn on TalkBack and just concentrate on that for now. And that will just open it up so much for you.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, if Bixby's working on your phone, Bixby should be able to turn on TalkBack for you.
Yes,
so
yes.
You can ask it to do it. Again, I mean, I get it. I totally get it. It's that thing about independence, isn't it? We're always feeling like, oh God, I'm having to ask someone else to do this. I think Shaun and I are in a bit of a strange position. Maybe not strange, because we're not alone in this, but we, on the show at least, we're not as representative.
Oh, of what?
Because Well, I have no idea. But both of us have visually impaired or blind partners.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we can't lean on them for assistance. So we're on our own here. You and I are on our own.
Oh, I've got kids. I'm all right. I've got that.
We'll find
I've
you
got
one.
eyes. It's fine. Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Damn
you and your eyes.
They always, what? Damn my children. Is that what you just said?
Damn you and your, yes, that's exactly what I said.
Mind you, my children are not children anymore, and they're quite often saying, no, I'm busy. Figure it out yourself. Okay, thanks.
But it kind of does force it, doesn't it? And we're both that type. We're both curious. We want to know.
Yeah. Exactly.
How can we use this? And a lot of blind people are like this. We're curious. We want to know. And Richard, you sound absolutely like that. So you're going to be fine with this. But thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I'm glad we're your daily watch and you're hooked on us. Hooked!
Yes. And keep in touch. Let us know how you get on. I would also say, look, there's sight loss organizations out there that may offer tech training, especially if you're just starting out on this. I mean, so there's some great organizations out there. So reach out, maybe a local one to you, and maybe some that will actually come to your house and give you a quick tutorial. Never feel like, it's you don't know enough to get training, if that makes sense. There's no such thing as we say this all the time, there's no silly question. Everyone's been here. So reach out and say, hey, I need some help, getting to use my phone now. I've lost some vision and I can't use it as well. There's more resources out there than you think.
Reach out and touch somebody's pixel.
Face. Yes. Good luck.
Right, moving on. Callum's here.
Hey, Double Tappers. It's Callum. I've got a quick message for Shaun.
Oh.
Because I thought you might quite like this. As, the guy who's got no smoke alarms in his house, extension leads plugged into extension leads.
All right, Callum.
Plugged into extension leads.
Okay, leave it.
Cheapest extension leads you can get.
All right,
and, cheapest power bricks and stuff like that. So I bought a USB-C power adapter plug brick thing. Nothing fancy, just a 20-watt USB-C charger. Got it off a well-known online store. Cost me £8, so I think that's, pretty reasonable. It came earlier today, opened it up, and when you handling it, so like when you move it around, you get this noise. So hopefully you can hear that. I'm not an electrician, but I feel like
that sounds fine.
A power adapter that rattles from inside it probably shouldn't be plugged in. However, if you want that to add to your collection of disasters waiting to happen, let me know. Sorry, I know you've got a backlog of emails and there is absolutely nothing of value in this message, but hopefully that's an insight into how my brain works, if nothing else.
Wow, thank you, Callum.
I don't know how to take that. Is he trying to get me in a disaster? Or
yes, I think he wants to burn your shed to the ground.
It's an absolute outrage. It's a debacle. £8. What's that? About $16 for a charger. You got to look. I'm all for affordability, Callum, but you got to take your safety seriously. Spend the extra money on a proper branded make when it comes to chargers.
That's right, Callum. You do that.
That's the only advice I can give you. Yes, please don't use that. That sounds absolutely terrible. Don't plug that in ever.
I must admit, I tend never to buy. I tend to buy Anchor.
I do as well.
I tend to buy Ugreen. I tend to buy
Belkin are usually good.
I still have a lot of the old Apple chargers around, the ones that used to come with the phones. I still have some of those with the, there's prongs, different ones in different countries, I think, with the style. Out. But yeah, but some of them don't now. They fold in. Have you seen those ones?
Yes.
The fold away plugs? That's quite good. But you don't get them anymore. I don't think so. You can probably buy them. No doubt Apple sell them.
What do you call those plugs? I mean, Callum struggled there. A USB-C block power brick.
Yeah, power. It's not a charging. Well, it is a charging block, but
it's a thing you plug your cable into that you then plug into a power outlet. Whatever the proper name for that is. Yeah, do be careful. And look, joking about me not having fire alarms. I do have a fire alarm, by the way. It's a portable one that I've bought. So I do have one now. What?
Neighbour next door. Watch out for smoke. That's basically it. Really. That's as far as it goes.
Thank you, Callum.
Yes, thank you, Callum.
Don't want it.
Let's move on to Camille.
Way to go, Stephen, on getting this add-on accepted. I know you had help. But all the same, you are the one who did most of the work, never mind that you did not have to create a single line of code. On a different note, a listener commented on his Sonos speakers and the lack of ease of use of the Sonos app. I purchased the Sonos Ray soundbar a couple of years ago based on a recommendation you made.
Oh.
I do not recall having to do much with the Sonos app. I simply plugged it into the TV, and once it was turned on, the Lady A app saw it. That is how I use it, through the Amazon Echo. Happy tapping.
Okay, thank you, Camille. Thank you for that. Yes, we were talking there, of course, about the item chooser that I'd created for NVDA and published to GitHub. Yes.
I've took that code, Stephen Scott, as I mentioned the other day. I've been working quite a lot in there.
Stolen.
There was quite a lot of unused architecture. Were you aware of that?
Unused architecture?
Yes.
That's about my house.
Apparently you had 2 programs living in one. You obviously started it and then just decided, yeah, that's not working. Let's just build another one on top. I've made some, I think, improvements to your...
Are you saying I had a bad code?
I'm not saying yeah.
Wow.
I'm just saying I've made some improvements.
What a way to resign.
I've made some improvements. I will be submitting I believe it's a PR.
Oh.
A pull request, maybe?
Yeah, someone's done that already. I don't know what you do with it.
You need to review the changes that the person has made and say,
How
you
do I
know
do
what? Those improve on my app, on my work. I will fold them in and make it available. So
how do I do that?
I don't know. I haven't a clue.
Fair enough. Right, we'll send it and see what happens.
All right. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing will happen. It'll sit there for the next 10 years and then the code will depreciate.
No, it's very good.
My architecture will crumble.
Very good. Check it out. The item, what's it called? Item chooser add-on. It's actually...
No, apparently it's terrible. It's full of bad code and...
No, I like efficient and clean. You know, I'm just saying, Stephen Scott. But
listen, so do I. I just have no idea how to do it.
It works.
I rely on... This is the problem, right? This is arguably the problem that people who are developers have with people like me. Because they'll say, and not directed at me, but they'll talk about people who are vibe coders and they'll say, you know, if you don't understand any of the code, if you're just putting this out there and you've no idea what you're actually putting out into the world, is that smart? Now they're saying, no, it's not smart. I'm saying, okay, but I can't do anything about it. So,
there you are.
There you go. You figure it out.
It works.
Maybe that's why people need to send me their
money. What?
Yeah.
What? Coffee?
PRs or whatever it is. Public relation people or whatever it is they have to send me.
We're all learning together and it's exciting times. But no, it does work very well. I believe it's in the add-on story as well, right?
No, it's not in the add-on story. Well, they wouldn't probably let it in because it was bad code. Well, I didn't put it in there.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Someone else might have done, but I haven't done it.
All right. There's so much. That add-on store is growing so much. And I saw a story the other day that GitHub has increased its commits by, was it 4-fold or 20-fold? I mean, so many people are using GitHub that never used it before now.
I think they had to buy a new hard drive.
Yeah.
To hold all these projects. Had to pop down the store. So interesting, right? I was looking at my computer the other day and it was saying to me, you know, if you wanted to run more models on your computer, like large language models.
Oh.
LLMs. Then you needed to upgrade the RAM, right? So I've got 32 gigabytes of RAM in my Dell tower. And it said if you had 128 gig in there, wow, this thing would fly. And so I thought, okay, and Claude said to me, well, you could get that for about £250, about 500 Canadian dollars. And I thought, okay, that sounds pretty reasonable. I think I'll do that, actually. That sounds pretty cool.
Yes.
So I said, go and investigate this. Go look at the machine, go and assess all this. And, point me to where you're finding that price, because that's pretty good. And so it came back and said, I'm very sorry to tell you. Very sorry to tell you. Those prices are a little bit out of date. And also your machine can only take a maximum of 64 gig RAM, so it's not worth the upgrade.
Yes.
You can't do 128 gig. You would have to do 64, which, is fine.
So you bought a whole new computer.
So I bought a whole new computer to cover it. No. So here's the thing. I said, okay, point me towards somewhere that sells 64 gig of RAM. And it said it would cost you over £500 for a 32 gigabyte stick of memory.
What,
so
for
that would be £1,000, so around $2,000 to get it just to 64 gig.
Wow. Okay.
Price has gone up massively.
You could still buy a new computer for that price. How separately, individually, the price of memory?
Yeah,
I haven't even looked.
If you look at PC costs now, if you upgrade the RAM at all inside those machines, and the sneaky bit here, this is the bit that gets me. The sneaky bit here is oftentimes those prices are on existing product that have already been purchased and paid for, made, put in a warehouse somewhere. And they're charging the new price for the RAM upgrade inside it, which you're not buying a RAM upgrade. You're just buying a version with the RAM already installed. I understand on a new machine, that's fine. And I understand anything new coming down the line will have that pricing. Oh, I say it's fine. It's not fine. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, but that's how much they paid for that source for the supply.
That's right.
Yeah, but I've heard this argument as well with pre-orders. You pre-order at a certain price and then all of a sudden it's ramped up by $300. And it's purely because of the market price has gone up anyway. But I ordered it at that price, and that's how much it was. So,
did you see that story recently about some manufacturers? I don't know which one specifically. There's a few manufacturers now, I think, are starting to sell computers with 8 gig of memory.
Yes, lots.
And it's to try and cut costs.
Yes.
Can I just put out there, don't do that, folks. If you're buying a computer and you think, I'll save some money by going for an 8 gig one, and you're a screen reader user, bad idea. I know some people say it's okay. I don't.
MacBook Neo's all right.
Foolish. Yeah, but the MacBook Neo's not a PC.
No, it isn't. Well done.
PC's a different machine.
Well done. Yes.
It is. So, the unified memory is very different to what PC currently uses. So, I mean, it will get better over time, I'm sure, but we're not there yet.
No.
I still think you need a baseline of 16 gigabyte of memory inside a computer if you're buying a new one today.
I would go
baseline.
With that. Yeah.
All the 32 is really nice, I won't lie.
Or 64. Or 128,
or
according
128. Yeah. Just keep buying more and spend absolutely huge amounts of money. It is wild how much money these things cost, but the price has gone up considerably. Quick one from John before we go.
Do you think it's maybe time we forgave Sonos? A couple of years ago, I heard various complaints that the new app wasn't accessible. Fortunately, that was enough for me to disable automatic updates. At that time, I was very depressed because how often do things break and never recover? I also had prior experience of sending messages to their accessibility email without ever getting a reply. So I was not hopeful. I don't want to excuse Sonos. Of course, they shouldn't release a broken app. And of course, if you had a Sonos system then and upgraded in good faith only to find the whole thing was unusable, then you have every right to be furious. However, it actually wasn't long before they released an update that made the app usable, and they continued to improve it. A few months after launching it, it was a perfectly good experience. Whether the app is better than it was before is debatable, but I'm really happy with how it is and have no problems at all. So it feels odd for me that we are still getting emails from people asking if they should jump ship. It's impossible for us to buy into anything without risk. Any mainstream software can become inaccessible at any point, and any specialist company can suddenly disappear, so there's no real safe option. Maybe I'm being a little naive, but Sonos really shot themselves in the foot with the app. They have lost a lot of customers, and even the CEO eventually had to leave. Sure, this wasn't to do with the accessibility as such, but it seems to me that these problems were still a major source of embarrassment, and they had to acknowledge it specifically quite quickly. If this isn't enough to learn a lesson, then I don't know what is. I continue to be a Sonos customer, and I continue to slowly build my system over time. I think it's time we move on and give them a break. I should also say at this point that there are a number of third-party Sonos apps available now, and Sonos do provide a pretty good API. I have already told Claude to write me a little app that uses some of the Sonos API, and it was a breeze. Well, admittedly, Claude did all the work. My point is that if the app broke again tomorrow, then other options are available that maybe weren't at that time. Again, this isn't to let them off the hook, but as a customer wanting my stuff to work, it's good to know that there's a plan B. John from Northampton.
Thank you, John. That's very interesting. I did not know that.
They've got an API. We can access it.
We can make our own tools.
This is genius. Okay, but
Blind Sonos coming soon.
It's an interesting question. Should we forgive them?
I think there comes a point, doesn't there, where it's like you can keep beating the same drum, or you can just decide you're not buying it. You know the facts. You know what's happened. You have to make a decision.
I think you just go off their actions, right? And that's the point. We know that apps become inaccessible through whatever reason, right? I think the thing with Sonos was their reaction to that and the fact that they were pre-warned about the accessibility issues. This was going to become...
Shaun. Look, I'm telling you, this is the thing that gets me every time with this. Everyone thinks that the Sonos debacle, as you would say...
As you should say, yes.
Was, and the CEO leaving, it was all to do with the accessibility. Oh, accessibility failed.
No, it was the mainstream.
Heads rolled. Yes. No one cared. Listen, if that was, we were locked out on that. We locked out as blind people on that one. Because if that app had come out and everyone loved it and thought it was fantastic and it was working great and it wasn't accessible, the CEO would still be there. Everything would still be as it was.
Yes.
The accessibility would be probably fixed down the line.
I'm with you, but
it wouldn't.
My point is, yes, I agree with you completely, but my point is that this wasn't just a case of, they overlooked accessibility. This was that they seemed to, at least, just willfully not care about it at all, even when they were informed of the problems. So I just think, can you forgive that? I think they have redeemed themselves so far. I think, it probably is time to let it go.
It is a matter for the individual. If you're going to, keep saying don't buy it, fine. But you know what? If there's ways we can build the tools that make that technology work for us longer term, fantastic. Of course, can everything we do inside that API be affected by an update? Then that's another
yes.
question entirely. Listen, we're out of time for today. We'll be back again, doing it all again tomorrow. Thank you, Shaun.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, did you enjoy that? If you want more, all you got to do is subscribe. Go on, hit the button you know you want to. Hit it now. And of course, hit that like button as well. Thank you for watching Double Tap.